Welcome to Manchester Airport, everyone. This is a training session on check-in. My name is Zane. I've been working here for about 10 years now. You probably might have seen me around, or if you don't, once after your 2-week training session, you probably will see me around out on the terminals. Just to start off with, I've told you a little bit about myself. I'm going to pass you a piece of paper. I want you all to write down your name and just think of one place or anywhere you've worked with anywhere customer service based, and we'll go around. So just fold it and write your names down. Yeah, so yeah, the way Lucy's done it. Everyone done that? Right, so we'll start off from this side of the classroom. So Jamila, welcome to Manchester Airport. So would you like to start off and tell me anywhere you've worked?
I have worked at KFC and I've worked in a bar.
That's really good. Hannah May?
I've worked in a chippy, Barton Grange Garden Centre, a restaurant called Havana.
So you've had a lot of experience then, that's really good. So Holly?
I've worked at Dobby's, I've worked at KFC.
And Kira?
I've worked at a youth group.
Yeah, so we've all got a lot of experience in here. So Olivia?
I worked in university.
That's Parvinda? Yeah, Wawa?
I worked in Tesco's as ear specialist.
Good. Lucy?
I worked in Dobby's as well, the brown bottle and as a receptionist.
That's really good. Nicole?
I've worked at Tommy Rain's, Small Morgan's, and buses.
Yeah. Paige?
I've worked for more friendly event organising and journey school.
That's really good. Bella?
I worked at
So yeah, so as we go around, you know, everybody's got really good experience out there working with customers and just the actual customer service base. So you know, you'll be really good at this job role. So I'm just going to go through a bit of learning objectives of what we're going to go through today. So the first one is you're going to be able to understand your preparation for your check-in. So when you get out on the terminals, you know, you'll know what you're doing. To understand the importance of the check-in sequence. So throughout the slides, I'll be going through what the check-in sequence is and how you'd be able to do that. How to greet passengers. So you've all got relative experience, so you'll know what to do. To ensure what ticket checks are and how to carry it out. To understand what travel documents are needed for all types of passengers. So you know there's quite a few travel documents that you need to look out for at Manchester Airport. The baggage acceptance on check-in, the check-in closure, so i.e. the customer service, how you'd approach them in difficult situations, and you know, to understand what denied boarding is. Does anyone know what denied boarding is? No? So that'll be good, you'll be able to understand what that is. And the data protection. So the preparation for check-in. So when you're out on the terminals, you need to make sure that you open your check-in on time. If you are late, you will need to approach your supervisor and just to let them know that you can't just like say if you come in about 5 minutes late, you will need to tell the supervisor, because that 5 minutes you could be wasting time for a passenger. You could have checked them in, not probably in that 5 minutes, but you're still wasting the customer's time. So you will need to ensure that you open it on time at all times. You'll need to make sure that all the items are required to the check-in desk. So if you need any pens, you need pencils, anything, rulers, or anything you need, make sure you have that on you at the check-in desk. You need to make sure you add on appropriate baggage labels. So you need to double check the labels that you're checking in on that customer's baggage is, and just to make sure it is going to the right destination. You need to check boarding passes and cards. So, just to, again, make sure they're going to the right destination. At your desk, make sure you have pens, staplers, and staples. So that's again like that one. Make sure you have the correct items on your desk. Ensure you have access to the passenger service manual, which is the electronic list of all the passengers which are needed to be checked in for that particular flight. So that's basically the passenger service manual is, when you get to your check-in desk, you'll have a full list of how many passengers all your staff will need to check in. So you'll just make sure you're going through that, just like what your target is for that day. You need to know your product you're working on and able to review any notices and policies. So throughout this group, you'll all be working for different airlines. So you could be in Terminal 1, Holly could be in Terminal 2, and Lucy could be in Terminal 3. So you all need to make sure you're reviewing your policies and your notices, just to make sure you all know what you're doing. So the check-in sequence. The check-in sequence is you'll need to read passengers' tickets and their booking confirmations, so making sure they are booked to go on that flight. You'll need to check travel documents, including visas. So there's quite a few travel documents. Especially in Terminal 3, you'll be going through Schengen visas. Maybe on Wednesday, somebody will be coming in from that department to speak to you about Schengen visas. Another one will be you'll need to weigh bags and hand luggage. You'll need to guide them to security procedures. So once they've checked in, just let them know that on the right hand side, they'll be having to go through security. You'll be labelling bags, transferring bags to the baggage hall, and issuing boarding cards. So greeting customers. Working for airline services, you'll be representing our background. We are very proud of our expanding organisation, so you'll need to ensure you greet passengers in the best possible way. So you'll need to greet them in a positive and the most friendly manner, because at the end of the day, you're working on that check-in desk, and when a person is going on holiday, you're the first person they are going to meet. So you need to be the most friendliest and the most approachable person ever, because if you come across as being like blunt or rude, then that could affect that whole holiday, because they're the first person, you're the first person they are coming to before they go on holiday. So you'll need to make sure you're very friendly. You'll need to be aware of using positive body language. Give passengers your full attention, and don't let external situations affect your workplace. Now, whatever happens outside the airport, you need to keep that outside the airport. You can't have that affecting you whilst, any politics or anything, you keep it outside of the terminal. So in pairs now, I'm going to provide you with some tickets, and I want you to pick out some ticket checks, and I'm going to provide them with you now, and you just need to circle or just pick out the key points that you think you need to look out for when you're on the desk. So what you're doing is you just circle what you think the ticket checks you need to carry out will be. Well done. Are we all done yet? Or we need a bit more time? Yeah? Round you up. So this is the ticket then. So can anybody tell me the first ticket check that you think that you need to carry out? The name, yeah? So obviously that's like, yeah, definitely. Anything else? Yeah, destination, which is obviously this is New York City to the sea. Anybody else? Yeah, so obviously this one's departing at 3:15. And especially the date as well, you know, you need to make sure they actually are travelling on that day. Is anybody else? Yeah, so obviously as this says over here, it says first class. Yeah, anybody else?
What about the gate?
The gate, this is quite an old type of ticket. I don't think it says the gate. Actually, it does. Yeah, so obviously, yeah, you just circle that, or you know, just make it visible for the passenger. Once you check them in, just say this is your gate, and whenever you're ready, make sure you go to that gate. Anything else? Sorry? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're travelling with Delta and they're in first class. So we've got those. So see, the ones that I had was ensure the name matches the passenger, the flight number is correct, the class check, the destination check, the date of travel is today, and the ticket status is as okay. Sometimes when people buy through different travel agents, sometimes their status of their ticket could not be on okay, and that means that their ticket isn't still valid. So then they'd have to contact the travel agents just to make sure their ticket is right for that day, basically. Right, so travel documents. So for international travel, so PAX is basically passenger. So you'll get used to the terminology. So it's for international travel, PAX, they must hold a valid travel document. You may require a visa for travel, and you must check all documents correctly. Documents required for domestic travel will vary from country, state, and the airline. You must check with your supervisor if you are unsure about any document. If PAX require a Schengen visa, you must carry out Schengen checks. So, like I said, you'll go through that maybe in the middle of the week when Dave will be coming around just to you know what Schengen visas are. So, this is the next activity. It's just about a driving license. Does anyone know how far you could travel on a driving license? Did you even know you could travel on a driving license? Right, okay. So I've got a little sequence here, and so basically I'll read it out, and I'll go around just to make sure everybody knows. So a driving license is something as a travel document on international flights. You may travel on something on a driving license. The travel documents required for domestic flights differs from country to country. Flights between the UK and Ireland require a passport. A driving license is something accepted. So does anyone know what the first one is?
Not accepted.
Right, and so a driving license is not accepted as a travel document on international flights. You may travel on
Within the UK.
Yeah, within the UK on a driving license. The travel documents required for domestic flights differs from country to country. Flights between the UK and Ireland require a passport. A driving license is
Not accepted.
right. Let's see if you're right. It's well done, Paige. So a driving licence is not accepted as a travel document on international flights, so you can't travel on a driving licence going to America or something far like that. You may travel within the UK on a driving licence, so if you're going to London, you can show your driving licence, because a driving licence is just like a passport. It's got your name, it's got your photo, it's got your date of birth. It's basically just like a passport, but just a bit different to that. And the travel documents required for domestic flights differs from country to country. Flights between the UK and Ireland require a passport, so you can't go to Ireland with your driving licence basically. But you can still travel to like London or Edinburgh or something like that with your driving licence. So baggage acceptance on check-in. Remove all stickers if applicable. So when you're on the check-in, and some passengers will come with that all stickers on their baggage because they've just basically not took it off. But you will need to remove them and put the new ones on. You can't just overlap the old ones. You'll need to ask necessary security questions. So if you're unsure about the passenger, if they don't look similar to their passport, you just ask a few security questions, just to make sure. And another thing is, if you get any passengers with the veil on, you will need to ask them, pull them to the side nicely and just say, are you okay to remove the veil? If they say no, then you will need to just ring for the supervisor, and then they'll take them to a private room and just carry out security like that. But you will need to try and see if most of the time they do just lift it up and just to show you that is them. But if not, then you just approach a supervisor on the terminal. Check baggage is not damaged and is fastened and bagged correctly. Just make sure that their baggage isn't already damaged, because then they could come back and say, we've damaged it when we haven't. Any items weighing over 20 kg must be labelled with a heavy tag. Like I said, if the baggage is over 20, then you just put the heavy tag label on. Look at the weight and size of baggage, see if it's in the allowance. So obviously that's another thing that you'll need to be doing. Weight and label the bag to the passenger's final destination. So if they've got connecting flights, so if you're going on Emirates, it'll obviously stop at Dubai and then it'll go to another destination. Just make sure you label it to the final destination. Just say to them that they won't need to go anywhere. You'll be providing the boarding passes till the final destination, and they'll just need to wait and go to the gate at that airport. And you'll need to be looking out for any possible dangerous goods. You'll be doing a lesson on dangerous goods on Thursday, where you'll be going through the in-depth basically. So check-in closure, customer service. So use passenger's name to get their attention. Return all documents to the passenger, so just make sure they've got everything with them. Explain what destination you have labelled the bag to. So obviously if it's the final destination, just let them know that you bagged it to the last destination. Hand passenger their boarding card. Explain the time of boarding and gate number if known. So you just let them know when it is, let them know when to get to the gate. Explain to the passengers where to go to next, so you advise them to go to the security, and wish the passengers a present flight. So what is denied boarding? Does Nicole want to read that out for me, please?
Denied boarding is a passenger who holds confirmed reservations on a specific flight but has been denied carriage. The passenger ticket would be valid and they have reported at the correct time for check-in. Examples of reasons.
Right, you could just stop there, sorry. So denied boarding is basically it's a passenger who holds a confirmed reservation on a specific flight but has denied carriage. So the airline could have overbooked a flight, and that passenger, they've checked in on time, they've been, they've got no issues, but they just have to wait for the next flight, and obviously the airline would compensate for that. So the examples of the reason they could deny boarding could be done. Nicole, if you'd like to finish them off.
Examples of reasons that may be for denied boarding: overbooking on the flight, overboarding, allocating more seats than are on board, aircraft change, acceptance of difficulties imposed by authorities.
So obviously, you'll be going through it more with like the different type of passengers you'll be checking in. So data protection. So under no circumstance, you do not give out passenger details to any other member of the public. If a couple come to you and maybe the husband comes and say, "Where's my wife? I want to know where she is. I want to know what flight she's going on." You cannot tell them under any circumstance because that is breaking the data protection. Although it might be his wife, but you just cannot give out that information. When giving out details to a passenger about their own booking, flight or their payments, you must verify passenger ID. So just to make sure that it is them, you just check their identification. If local authorities wish to have information about a passenger, you may need to advise them to fill out an official request form. Sometimes they must request through the airline. So if a local authority like the police come and say, "We want information about this passenger," you just say to them that I'm sorry, I can't give you that information. You need to fill out an official request form, and sometimes it's normally done through the airline. So they'll probably go to the manager. That's it. But you cannot give out information to anybody. You must be extra careful when giving out information during a delay. So obviously when it's delayed, you do tell the passengers that there is a delay with the flight, but you just don't give too much information about the delay, because obviously that could get them, If approached by a journalist, you should have no comment. So if any journalist approaches you, you say you have no comment. Direct any journalist to a manager. So if any journalists do approach you, just send them to the manager. You should be extra careful during an incident, and emergency response procedures will be in place. So now I'm going to give you out a feedback, and I'm going to give you also a few questions about just to test how well you've been listening. So if you get stuck, I'll come now, but it's not too hard. Give me about 2 minutes and then we'll go through the answers. So have we filled in the questions? Right, give me about a minute on that then. Girls at the back, what we done? Yeah? Right, so we'll go through the answers then. So, what are the 5 basic checks required to do on a ticket? Does anyone want to? Right, so yeah, so name is one. Second one, date, yeah. Time, yeah. Destination, yeah. Sorry? Yes, yeah, definitely. Definitely, yeah. Can you drive using a driving license? Oh no, can you drive? Can you use a driving license to travel to Singapore?
No.
Does anyone know why?
Too far. It's
Yeah.
international. You can only use it in the UK.
Definitely, yeah, that's it. What advice could you give local authorities when they ask you for information about a passenger?
To sign an official document.
Yeah, well done. So they need to ask for the required form, and obviously it's usually done by the airline. We call one check-in closure. Does anyone want to tell me what that is?
Make sure everyone's
Yeah, so use passengers' name to get their attention, wish them a pleasant flight, and just handing over their documents, and yeah, just being approachable really. How would you greet customers? Definitely, yeah. And like I said before, you don't let whatever's going on outside, you don't let that affect your work life. Yeah. So has everyone got those down then, yeah? Right. So there's just a bit of feedback on the back of the papers which you fill in. Thank you for listening, and on Wednesday you'll be going through the Schengen visas, so I wish you good luck and thank you for listening.